All right, so in this video, I thought I would actually just do my interpretation of the Ferrari Enzo. Now, this is my first time kind of doing this whole video in one take. I don't exactly know where I'm going to go with this, and it could end up horribly bad, but I'm just going to go with it anyways. I've kind of wanted to do this video for a long time. At least I've thought about it since the Enzo came out, essentially when I was a kid, and it didn't quite sit with me very well. Now, this is the best angle of the Enzo that I could find, or one of the best. It's kind of inspired by me recently watching an old Top Gear episode where they compared all the Ferraris, or at least these two specifically, the Ferrari F40. I have here a generation kind of breakdown using ChatGPT of all the previous top Ferraris, just for reference. Now, again, I could go and make a whole video on every single one, but especially the latest one and the LaFerrari. But today, I've kind of wanted to focus on the Enzo because this is kind of the Ferrari that kind of came out when I was a kid, and I was aware of, like, I actually remember it being out there and the hype surrounding it. A lot of my friends loved it, but from the beginning, I had some issues with it. And since then, my passion for cars has just kind of grown, and it never really went away. So I thought I'd just kind of show the side profile of it in this photo. Again, I don't take credit for any of these photos, but I kind of just wanted to demonstrate one of the things that I thought was a little bit wrong with it. It's still a gorgeous car, but to me, it's some things just stood out and it took away from the overall impact. Whereas if we compare it to the Ferrari F40, this car to me just overall was just much better in terms of first impressions, especially given that it's a much older car. So certainly it tells you that Ferrari kind of missed the mark, in my opinion, a little bit. Now, again, this is all subjective, but regardless, some of the criticisms that I would have had, and I actually had from the beginning, was the overhang of this car. The front end is just so nose heavy that I think it kind of looks a little bit odd. Now, in this angle, it's not as obvious, so the front quarter view is pretty nice, but in the back, it's not bad as well. But I just feel like somehow the back is too low. The space, usually the C pillar, this is assuming the A, B, C pillar, the rake of the back of the cabin of the car, usually comes a little bit over the rear wheel. This one's far forward of it. It's a little bit unusual for me, so it kind of stuck out. Now, again, this is just me. I'm gonna try to do a first 2D draw of it roughly, and I guess I'll just do a little bit higher up because the bottom of my notebook isn't visible, and I hope my head doesn't go in the viewing angle too much, but it probably will. So I'm just gonna start by putting a rough approximation of where I think the wheels are gonna go. Now, there's a rule of thumb for this. It's I don't know, 3.5, but I mean, I kind of wing it. This is rough, and I already think it might be a little bit too long, but overall, it's just roughly there. Now, I didn't really plan anything, so I'm kind of just free-flowing, and I could do this all day, 10 different variations. So I'm just gonna do a rough sketch of where I think I want the lines to go, and then tweak it as always. That's kind of been my style, kind of winging it. So I think having the rear end of the car a little bit higher than the front, if we reference the Ferrari F40, at least design-wise, it looks like it does that. It's kind of a nice feature, in my opinion. Here it's a little bit higher clearly, but in certain angles it looks a little low, especially in this angle. I don't know, so I just keep the line a little bit maybe higher, but again, I could do 10 variations of this. Now, I certainly don't want the nose to be this far forward. I do appreciate them having the Formula 1 nose incorporated into the design for the first time. As you can see here, it's hard to kind of show it on the side profile view, so this is going to be very rough, but I kind of wanted to get an idea of where I want the A pillar to start, where I want the rake to go, and how I kind of want the tail lights to look. Again, I'm kind of doing this as I go, so there's going to be a lot of tweaks and stuff. Now, this is a mid-engine car, so it is going to have the cabin pushed a little forward, so it's gonna have like a rake in the back. You'll kind of see what I mean. I mean, you can see this slant is a little bit longer than the front. That's because the engine's there, so you kind of have to like incorporate that into the design. But where do I want it to end? I don't know if I necessarily want it to end a little bit ahead of the rear wheel. Maybe I want it to go a little bit on top just to give it like a more balanced look. So it'd probably be like that. Now, again, I would probably raise the height of the rear fenders just to give it a more aggressive stance. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the end, but it's essentially just, it butts off like that, kind of like the end of a shotgun or something. So I'll kind of have where I want it to end, but I think I want like the back end to rise a little bit, so it'll be maybe, I mean, I hope this is all visible too, otherwise it's for nothing. But yeah, it looks like it's visible, something like that. I do want to kind of keep a lot of the design features, because I mean, I can have my totally different take on it, but I do want to keep some of the body lines and the shapes kind of the same. We do see that in all generations, they kind of have this big scoop just in front of the rear wheel somewhere. I do like how the F40 had these NACA ducts, NACA ducts, that kind of have like the shape or the silhouette of a fighter jet. I mean, I think these were initially from airplanes. It's kind of a shame they don't use it anymore. It is kind of like a dated style, but it's one of those things that they could bring back, and I don't think it would look bad if they do, because some things just kind of age really well, right? So anyways, I'm not sure what I'd put in the middle here, but I kind of like the silhouette of this car. It is long, but I think here I would kind of somehow make it a lot shorter, right? So this body goes all the way up to here. Even this to me is a little bit long, but I would probably, just playing with some lines here, I'd probably make it end there. Now, again, the good thing is this pen is erasable, so if it gets too messy, I can just erase. But roughly speaking, I think I would kind of do something like that. As far as the silhouette, the engine would be there. Now, this has a lot of lines that break up because there's ducts there, and then there's like an inner body line there, whereas this is a lot more smoother. I mean, there's so many options here, but I think kind of in being true with the looking at the previous designs, there's obviously a little dip at the bottom part, usually, at least where the fenders are, but the cabin kind of stays flat. So maybe there's going to be some sort of dip here. Again, I'm just trying to see what flows the best. So something like that. Now this is a little bit more classic, but I mean, if I wanted to keep that duct, so I could probably like, I'm not sure. I mean, you can play around with it a lot. There's a lot of variations. I'm trying to do one good take. Normally I would play with things, erase it, and then change it up. But for the sake of time, I would kind of do something like that. Kind of keep a little broken lines there. And then here I would follow what they've done, maybe. And then kind of breaks back into that. These lines, you can kind of see I'm following this line. Again, this would be not my final version of this, but it kind of has a Testarossa feel to it, to me at least. But it would be something like that. And then that's pretty much how it would look roughly from the side view. Now, the mirrors and stuff, that I kind of don't always put, but I don't like how the cockpit, this would be the C-pillar. It's just so much of this body space there. I probably would kind of, if I were to make a C-pillar, it would probably look, I mean, I'm trying to be also period correct, so I would probably make it like something like that. Again, I could have 10 variations of this literally. I might even extend the A-pillar all the way to the front, the C-pillar all the way there. It is, although a more dated look, but again, there's a lot of options there. So here I probably put like room for a spoiler, you know, although it's probably not common for Ferraris. I mean, the F40 did have a, and the F50 and the F80, actually, now that I think of it, including the LaFerrari, they all pretty much had spoilers except probably the 288 and the Enzo, although the 288 kind of had a flare. So again, it wouldn't be uncommon to put a flare, but a spoiler back there. I don't know if I said flare, but I meant spoiler. So I kind of keep this as the rough side view of the car. It does kind of give me Pagani Zonda, a little bit of R8, all those kind of vibes all together, but it still kind of is in line with the Ferrari. Now, challenge for me has always been to kind of transition that into more of a perspective drawing, and that's where like it gets a little bit harder. So again, I'm doing the same thing. This is going to be the front quarter view, kind of. Again, it's harder when you're drawing on camera and you want to twist this around, but roughly speaking, and already it's smudging a little bit, but that we can take care of with this pen. But roughly speaking, I want the proportions, kind of the lines either parallel in perspective or perpendicular, roughly. So again, I'm just gonna kind of, maybe I should have the old drawing in reference a little bit as well. Let me look this up. Kind of there for a reference, and then I would let's bring this over so it's in view. I kind of follow the lines. Now again, this is not going to be exact. I'd probably do another sketch of it, but kind of putting in roughly where the body lines are going to go. And again, I don't exactly know how I want the front to look, but I'm just roughly designing or sketching where the lines would go. So here would probably be where the windshield would start roughly. I like to hover right where the camera is because I don't want my lines to not be parallel. So, and that would be roughly where the windshield would go and where the A-pillar would start. So and yeah, at this point is where the A-pillar would start. Kind of rake it in. I know it ends roughly here, so be something along those lines. Doesn't help that the pen is a little dying, but and then we're gonna have the spoiler come somewhere in this area, so this is gonna be cut off kind of like that. Do you think those lines are more accurate? And the spoiler does stick out, so again, I want my lines to be parallel, but it's a little tough with not putting your head right where the camera is. I'm kind of doing this. I had to stand up from the desk, and already I can see kind of like the edge of the line is not, the end of this line wasn't parallel to the spoiler, so I kind of want it to be that way. But now it's looking a lot better with this. Might even have to be more, but again, roughly speaking, just getting the rough outline there. And I remember this would go down. this is more in line. Okay, so it's kind of come together, roughly estimating where all the lines go. Again, very rough and crude, but there's no way we can't do another version of this and then clean up the lines. But so far, this is how it would kind of look. Now, then the question is, do I keep the lines the same with regards to the perspective of, do I keep the lights the same? Because I kind of like the lights. I wouldn't mind them being a little bit shorter, but that kind of really what makes the Enzo, right? So I would probably just keep them the same length, although they're a little bit too long for me. So I probably try to shorten them just a tad bit, you know. And then it would be roughly that area. Very roughly speaking, but again, even the shape of the headlights, just a small tweak makes a huge difference, like how wide they are, how long they are. And then with regards to the Formula One nose, I would probably keep it. I don't know if I'd make it protrude that much. You probably could, but I'd probably switch it up a little bit. I mean, I draw roughly where the center line is, and then I would probably widen it a little bit more, just to like, I'm gonna experiment with widening it a little bit more, just that so that it's not so pointy in the front. But again, this could backfire, who knows. And then we'll keep that classic big front vent in there. Again, this is a very rough sketch, but the overall idea of the car is kind of coming along. And then I definitely like do another take of this and then clean up the lines a little bit more. That's just what I do. Now, am I pleased with this design? I'm not sure. It was just like a free-handed first attempt, roughly speaking. Again, my 2D sketches are they're just so much more clear. This is why I kind of never started with doing 3D, because it's just never been as clean. But again, this is also my progress videos where I kind of, you know, try to show how I'm progressing, but also kind of try to explain my ideas. And yeah, I mean, I'm not displeased with this. Certainly, there's a lot of room for improvement and cleaning up the design, but I just thought I'd upload this video and kind of take it from there. Now, I know if I go off camera and redo this whole thing, I'm 100% sure it's gonna look better, and then, but that's just how it is. Like, it's different when you're on camera. Not that there's actually an audience or anything, but it's just harder. But anyways, this is my rough first attempt at redoing the Enzo. I mean, I cleaned it up a bit. It kind of gives me some Japanese vibes. Now, again, I'll probably upload another video of my redone design and just explain what I changed and what I didn't. But I mean, this is a fair progress video. I'm not, you know, claiming to be the world's best artist, but that's also kind of the whole point, to kind of like track the progress, if there is any. Hopefully there will be, and then just go on from there. Again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. If it looks hideous or good or whatever, you can let me know. Thanks.